Among Arizona registered voters, 40% call housing affordability a top 3 concern, and about a quarter of them say it's their top concern.
Now, these percentages nearly match across several demographics. Joining us live on Arizona's Morning News, pollster Mike Noble of Noble Predictive Insights. So what are some of the key takeaways from your latest poll, Mike?
Well, there's a couple of key takeaways. One is that the housing pain point, or people talk about inflation or cost of living crisis. I mean, they're talking about housing. I mean, housing is a massive issue. So some of the key findings we saw among Arizona voters that actually a quarter of Arizona voters have considered moving out of state due to the high housing costs. So it's not only a pain point, but it's making them think, about moving elsewhere, which is a bit of an issue. And then also that voters are relatively split on their willingness to move within Arizona for less expensive housing if they increase their regular commutes by about 30 minutes. So, what's that trade-off we were trying to find out? Were people willing to, move a little farther out for more cost-effective housing? Well, a plurality, or 47% of Arizona voters, were very much interested in that, and also being open to, I think one of the other key findings is general support for building new apartment complexes close to home if it lowered overall housing costs.
Yeah, I find that fascinating because, people, I would think, want a home of their own, not necessarily an apartment home of their own, but I guess they're willing to settle if they'll keep them in Arizona and certainly keep them in the Valley.
Absolutely. It was interesting. One of the crosstabs are some of the demographic groups. Like when we drill down, looking at those groups most likely to consider leaving the state, it's kind of shocking. The groups that were really pushing that number is people age 18 to 44, so younger voters, Hispanic, Latinos, Arizona natives. And then parents of children under 18 and urbanites.
It's interesting because I came here from Southern California, and what we've seen happen there is if you are very wealthy, you can afford a house, and everybody else is just out of luck. And that is not something that you want to see happen because it's too painful, and it makes it very difficult for people to live there.
100%. I mean, the biggest thing is that we're a victim of our own success here in Arizona. Great weather, great position. I mean, again, it's a fantastic place here in Arizona, so a lot of people, you can't blame them, want to live here. The problem is that we're having to keep housing affordability is keeping up with that demand. So, getting more apartment complexes and/or housing. And here's the thing: we have plenty of space to build, and there's a lot of people that do want to build. So it's a matter of just trying to accelerate that. But I guess can't stress enough the housing pain point right now, and that unless something's done about it, I mean, Arizona's going to see some negative consequences to it.
You do a lot of political polling, Mike Noble, with Noble Predictive Insights. And so any indication on how your numbers from this housing story could shape next year's elections?
Absolutely. I mean, for one, incumbent Democrat Katie Hobbs, who's up for re-election, which will be the biggest race this year since we don't have a Senate race finally. We had 5 Senate races in a row, so we finally get a break this election. And so, Katie Hobbs, so the current governor, I think this is a key issue. I mean, if she's able to come with some wins on this issue or something to take to the electorate, puts her in a good position for re-election. But if not, could put her on the back foot. But also, I think for Democrats and Republicans in general, especially down at the state legislature, to be able to show, hey, were they able to get some wins on this issue? So I see it as a key electoral issue, and elected officials, either running for office or in office, should really should really keep this front of mind, because it's not about jobs. People have plenty of jobs right now. I think housing is one of the real big key pain points for voters right now.
And if affordable housing is a top 3 concern, what are the other 2? I mean, if I was running for office, I want to know all 3.
Oh, inflation, which you could tie very much into housing. But the other one, shocker, immigration.
That makes perfect sense. All right. And very concise to finish.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, Michael. That's Mike Noble with Noble Predictive Insights joining us live on Arizona's Morning News.
It was 5 years ago that the pandemic turned our world upside down. For example, when we came out of it, affordable housing wasn't.
Because of how much home values have risen, $1 million just doesn't buy what it used to.
Yeah, neither does $500,000
or $250,000
or anything like that.
Right.
We're also learning that a quarter of Arizonans have seriously considered leaving the state in search of cheaper places to live. Joining us live in studio is KTAR's Colton Krolak. And so, Colton, what else have you learned about the types of housing buyers can afford and are looking for?
Yeah, well, you guys mentioned the $1 million homes, and at least growing up, I was like, those are mansions,
right?
There's about 17,000 more $1 million homes in the valley than there was at the start of COVID. So you're like, where are all these mansions at? But they're about 700 square feet smaller than they were back in the pandemic. So the money is going a lot less far than what it used to.
Million doesn't mean mansion anymore.
Right, exactly. Prices up about more than 53% since COVID. A lot of that was because we had a huge population boom during COVID, especially people who were remote workers who now could choose where they wanted to work from. They chose to move to Phoenix. The housing supply couldn't keep up and prices skyrocketed.
All right, so let's talk about who is likely to leave Arizona for cheaper places to live and where are they going to go?
Yeah, so Noble Predictive Insights did this survey, and they found that about a quarter of the people that they surveyed have seriously considered moving out of the state because of high home prices. The ones that were most likely to were 18 to 44-year-olds. About 39% said that they would seriously consider it. Hispanic and Latinos, about 38%. And then the surprising one for me was Arizona natives, 35%. I would think the heat would have gotten them by now, but I guess the home prices are really what's doing it.
The hot home prices.
Yeah, hot home prices.
Overheated even. And so maybe they're going to, I'm guessing, like New Mexico, West Texas, or other parts of Texas, anywhere to basically escape. I saw some prices last month in the Dallas area, or maybe a little farther outside of Dallas, $335 for a 3 or 4 bedroom house.
Well, Arizona was that for Californians, and now we're kind of being priced out to where
now we're California East.
Right. Well, the problem is Californians had $1 million homes that were 1,200 square feet. I'm not even making this up.
No, we know
At
that.
1,200 square feet, they were selling them, had all this cash, and it's like, well, I can just go do what I want. Right. And, ouch, sorry.
And here they are. Colton, in your reporting for this story, is anyone providing any ideas to bring housing prices down and production up?
Well, this is a hot button issue. Obviously, we've heard repeatedly about how the economy is a major concern, but housing prices right up there, one of the top issues for voters. So there's a lot to play for. Politicians are very invested in creating a solution to this housing prices because they know what that means for an election. That's why Noble Predictive Insights was taking a look at this. I think looking toward the outskirts, some of that undeveloped land, outskirts of town, maybe even near Tucson, might be something that they look at. There's a huge swath of people who are actually willing to move within the state. I believe it was something like more than 40% of voters willing to increase their commute by 30 minutes, as long as it means a good deal on the home. So they are okay. And actually, just for you guys, I'm going to an event later today. Governor Katie Hobbs is going to be talking about this very issue about affordable housing and low-income housing tax credit, how to expand that program.
Well, it's something that is absolutely going to play out in the next election because something has to be done to ease the pressure. And most of that pressure, of course, on people who are in their cars right now going, why am I stuck in a 1-bedroom apartment? I should be able to have a house. I make X amount of money.
Right. Yeah.
And, you couple high interest rates like we're seeing right now, or higher, I should say, higher interest rates with that higher cost, you're looking at a monthly payment that most people go, no.
Yeah, I talked to Zillow about that very thing, and the average home cost $450,000, she said, and if you put 10% down, you'd still need 1.5 times the area's median income to afford a house. So
it's not a winning combo.
It's very hard.
Sounds like Manhattan to me. Ouch. Well, hopefully Governor Hobbs and others will have some good ideas today and going forward to see what we can do about the housing crisis and just the unaffordability of it all.
Colton Krolak, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.